Sicily. That is big trouble. Wow, what a battle. And they are lighting it up on this platform. Sold out crowd, got the money's worth today. Session. This is day 2 live in Lake Tahoe, presented by A7. I'm Ryan Sixpack Lapidat.
And I'm Adriana Davis.
And today we have the 63 and 69 kilo women's, as well as on the men's side, of course, the battle of the 83s. And Adriana, in the 63s, it is a return of former world champion Megan Scanlon, who has a bit of a bad taste in her mouth. And in a lot of ways, this is a potential shot in redemption today.
Yeah, and we were kind of questioning if she was going to go 69 or 63 in this meet. She wants that title back. She's the defending national champion in the 63 kilo class. That's her weight class. She's coming here to prove a point.
In the 69s, things got a little bit spicy, a little bit contentious online between Janae Kovacs and Celine the Machine. These two ladies literally flipped a coin on who's going to win this. Experts polled online. Could go either way. Adriana, how excited are you for this one?
I am ecstatic, and I never want to show too much bias on the stream, but this one is probably my favorite class I've been looking forward to for weeks.
And of course, the 83s, the return of Joe B, did not have the day he wanted at Sheffield, forced to come to Powerlifting America and defend his title and his position on Team USA. And you have people like Jaden Lowe, Angelo Fortino, who are ready for that battle. As we kick it down to the platform, we have the 63 kilo women's about to kick off.
All
Maggie Stout, 137.5 kilos.
Maggie Stout. Bar is loaded.
Maggie is a super fun competitor to watch. She last competed at Rising Tide. And I mean, she's, excuse me, she's being coached by Kerry himself, big man Kerry, and she's made a lot of progress under him. I'm excited to see what she puts up.
Nice smooth opener.
Yeah, and Maggie, I took a look at her open powerlifting. She is an executionist. I don't think she has missed a squat yet in her career.
Waiting on lights. The referees say it's good. That is a good lift for Maggie Stout of Minnesota.
That's going to be a good lift.
Once we do, I can tell you
Often we have some technical issues with the lights starting out.
bar is not loaded. We are not ready yet. Bar is not loaded.
We are staying in the 63 kilo class. 137.5 for Audrey Myers.
Audrey had some fun in the commentary booth earlier this week. She's also a very young lifter in terms of training age. I believe she's only been competing since 2022. And I just heard note that this is her first Open National Championship, and she's in the prime time. That was fast. Should be a good lift, and I believe it is. Yep.
160 kilos up next for Hannah Peterson as we stay in the 63 kilo class.
Bar is loaded for Hannah Peterson. 352 pounds.
Hannah coming out of Minnesota. Another fairly seasoned competitor, and now we know that Megan Scanlon is the big favorite for the gold, but Hannah, she's gonna be fighting for a podium spot. Let's see how 160 moves. Easy work there.
So far, nice smooth openers by these young ladies in the 63 kilo class. What you want to see, get the nerves out the way, get on the board. You have an opportunity to make a bigger jump from there. As 162.5 being loaded for Sydney Hunter. I recognize Sydney from last year's Nationals. She's got a big deadlift on her.
You took the words out of my mouth, Ryan. She's got a huge deadlift on her. Somewhere near 500 pounds. She's also going to be one of those competitors fighting for a podium spot.
A little bit of a speed wobble, but I don't think anything overly major to concern herself about. Looks back for those lights. Ooh, 2-1.
Oh, I think that was a mistake. I think the center referee meant to.
No, center referee is giving a thumbs up. I think she just wanted to hit the wrong light. We'll see if that red on the scoreboard turns to green. We'll keep you updated. But until then, 170 for Daisy Garcia as we stay in the 63 kilo class.
Daisy is one fierce competitor. She's competed on the world stage in the juniors.
Daisy awaits the squat command. Looks depth from my point of view. 170 kilos on the board for her.
And it is a good lift for Daisy. Bar is loaded for 380.
Yep, 2-1, that's a good lift.
172.5 now for Angelina Martinez. Angelina campaigned in the 63 kilo class as a junior, represented USA at Junior Worlds, was at last year's national championship battling Megan Scanlon as a 63. Recently moving up to the 69 kilo class.
And I think that that's a good move, especially as a younger lifter. You really want to fill out your potential there. And I think since moving up that weight class, she's gotten a lot stronger, and she's got a weapon of a deadlift on her.
Yeah, she's also got a deadlift that can cover some ground. And speaking of Megan Scanlon, 182.5 being loaded for her opening squat. The heavy, heavy favorite here. Megan had people guessing, would she come in for the 63 kilo class or 69 kilo class in 2025? She did a bit of both. Highly successful in both, but she was not at all happy with the performance at Sheffield, would like to remove the bad taste in her mouth. Opts to return to the 63 kilo class here for US National Championships.
Yep, at Sheffield, she'd put up a 555 kilo total. Gonna be looking to beat that out today. Get back on that world stage like she's so used to being on. 2-time world champ. And you can tell.
And here it is. The highly anticipated showdown between Janae Kovacs, Celine the Machine. Look at that shot with them side by side. All the trash talk online, all the hype, it's all come down to this. 192.5 for Janae Kovacs, junior world champion. Now in the open.
Looking to make a statement.
Yeah, that's...
I feel like she's already made a statement.
I was about to say, online definitely made a lot of statements. The proof is in the pudding, and she is not one to back down.
And in terms of competitions, she out-totaled Celine by half a kilo at her last meet.
Half a kilo. It's neck and neck between these two ladies.
Yes, sir.
192.5, taken for a ride. Judges awaiting the lights. I thought I saw a thumbs up. I don't see official lights. I think it's a go.
I believe it was a good lift. I think I saw those 2 thumbs up.
And here she is. Celine the Machine, 200 kilos even. Between these young ladies, it's a very close match. Celine, the bigger squatter, can pick up a chip. Janae, the bigger deadlifter, and likely will have the last say. So what's going to happen in the middle? Here's Celine the Machine, world's veteran.
Looking to defend her national title.
Nice opener for Miss Crum.
The lift is good, folks. Get ready for round 2. We're going to sit down to 318 pounds. We're going to start over with Maggie Shout. Bar is loaded.
Back at the top of the order, second round of squats, Maggie Stout, 145. We return to the 63 kilo class.
Moving quite quickly here. I think a lot of these competitors, especially those that are more experienced on the primetime stage, going to be adjusting to that.
Step looks good. Wow, that was a smooth second attempt.
Beautiful.
Can't help but break a smile at the top. You know she's confident.
Just 5 keys under her best. Looks like they're going to be setting up for a PR. And this is her first national meet on the Powerlifting America stage.
145 for Maggie Stout.
Oh, this is Audrey Myers.
Audrey Myers. Yeah, no, Maggie just went up.
Thinking the board is kind of lagging here.
147.5 for Audrey.
10-kilo jump. Let's see how she handles it.
Ooh, a little bit of a fight halfway through. Gave a bit of a facial expression at the top, like, wow, that was unanticipated. That's okay. Scraps will happen. A little bit of a misgroove. She can make some adjustments. One more round of squatting to go. As Sydney Hunter waits in the wings. 170 kilos.
170. Not 107. She's got a PR of 175. So let's see how this moves for her. In the 63s, she's definitely going to be one of those contenders for the podium, along with Hannah Peterson and Daisy Garcia.
Gets a squat command. Looked like a second attempt should move. Was it depth? Judges, 2-1, it's good.
Honestly, that was a bit surprising to me. I agree with you, Ryan. I thought it was a hair high, but the referees have the best view. And she gets that on the board, thankfully.
Hannah Peterson, 170 kilos stays on the bar for her. And we stay in the 63 kilo class.
And as we're watching that podium battle in this weight class, Hannah's loaded up a match PR, and Sydney's gonna go to match her PR on the 3rd.
Wow, it was work.
Bit sticky towards the middle, but she's really got a good vantage point with her stance that she seems like she can grind through a squat.
Second attempt, 396 pounds. Bar is loaded.
180 kilos for Daisy Areola Garcia. We stay in the 63 kilo class.
Just 2.5 keys under her best.
Almost a mirror image of her opener. Daisy, plenty more where that came from. 2-1, it's good. 182.5 kilos, 400 pounds for Angelina Martinez. As we move back to the 69 kilo class.
Not far from her best squat. Could be looking to PR on the national stage.
Ooh. A little tricky coming out of that hole. She doesn't look undaunted.
Take the clock to a staggering 4:29.
Megan Scanlon up next, 195 kilos for her second round of squat. Megan, enjoying the moment there.
As she typically does.
Yeah, well, not always here. Look, it's a different situation than when she's at Worlds in Sheffield. There are other 63s in the pack, but she's got quite the spread in terms of top-end horsepower. No major ask. Cruises through her second. And we move back to the 69 kilo class, to the heated showdown between Janae Kovacs and Celine Crum. 202.5 for Janae. National record squat for the juniors.
And I almost forgot that she was still a junior lifter. Loading up 202.5. If she hits, this is already going to be a PR for her. I know she had mentioned that squats were going well.
Oh, she's strong on the day. 2-1, it's good. And Janae is applying pressure on the veteran.
Already walking away with a PR on her second attempt.
Celine, 210 kilos, previous personal best, 214. We're getting close. This 210 is going to be very telling. One thing Celine has on her side, she's been in battles at the top end, national level, even at the World Championships. She does bring that to the table. Now, Janae trying to ratchet up the heat, ratchet up the pressure. A little bit of spice online. How does Celine respond? Depth looks good. Oh, wow.
And she is on point today.
Yeah. And this type of pressure does not get the best of Celine the Machine. 210, moves smooth. Question would be, where does she go for her third and final? You think with a battle this close, a potential chip in play?
Yeah, and the interesting thing is I'll have to look at the record books, but I don't know if, I think Janae will have an opportunity as well to get those chips in the deadlifts. So Celine could load up that 214.5, maybe even 215. I know that she can grind out, I was going to say a squat, but pretty much any of her lifts.
Audrey Myers, 150 kilos. As we begin the third and final round of squats for the ladies' flight. Stay tuned, of course. With no break, we'll go directly into the second flight with the men.
Fairly similar to her second attempt. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift based on depth.
Just a little bit high. 152.5 being loaded for Maggie Stout. We stay in the 63 kilo class.
Would be a personal best for her.
Step looks good.
Nice third attempt there.
If you're wondering, so Celine putting in 215.5, Janae 207.5. It's come down to a game of chicken. Who's going to blink first? Neither one of them can afford to miss. Sydney Hunter, 175.
This would match her personal best, and she's got some experience on the national stage. Let's see how this goes.
Nope.
That's going to be a no lift.
Hannah, 175. 5 kilo jump. 5 kilo personal best should she hit it. Whoa, helicopters just a stitch. Loses that bar path, unable to regain form. And that'll cost her third and final. These ladies, so far, 4 lifters up, only one of them hits, Adriana.
Let's see if Daisy can change the game.
187.5.
This would be a 5 kilo PR for Daisy. Whoa.
Yeah, it moved well. Let's see what the judges say. 2-1, it's good.
Big PR for Daisy in that podium battle.
Angelina Martinez, 187.5 for her third and final squat. Yes. 2.5 kilo personal best, should she hit it?
Step looks good. Whoa.
My goodness, no.
All smiles, no worries.
Yeah, at the bottom, she seemed to have almost bottomed out, and it was going to be difficult to come back up. Of course, trying to retain some strength for that final deadlift. She's got a big pull on her.
And I almost thought that she was going to be able to fight through that. Like you said earlier, she had a bad taste in her mouth, looking to build up that momentum leading back into the World Championships.
If she hits this 10 kilos over her previous personal best, and she's gonna need it because she's up against the biggest, strongest lady she's ever faced in Celine Crum. on that young lady and tell me she didn't want that one.
And she almost looks emotional on the platform.
Wow. And this is what happens when things get intense. You take it to the platform, and she does not fold under pressure.
And
now,
I know that she promised the scouters, the experts, that she had corrected the depth. She made improvements on the squat. I was being a little bit of a critic, but that looked insanely good, and she has the fight in her.
Celine, 215.5, has an opportunity to respond. We now know Janae is on form. Is Celine on form? Obviously, a chip is now in play should she hit this.
There you go.
Oh, and she responds right back. And the hype, these young ladies are living up to it. Back and forth they go. Whoa.
What a battle we have on our hands here, Ryan. Junior national record, open national record, chips in play.
Top of the order for squats, 230 kilos for Benjamin Winder.
This is Benjamin's first time on the PA national stage. And in prime time, nonetheless.
Well, that was deep.
Yeah, that was deep and that was fast. That's how you want to start your meet off.
Well, it leaves no doubt whether or not he can hit depth. In the 83s, of course, it's the return of Joe B. He had a bit of a rough performance at Sheffield, and the conversation is, with 5 short weeks, can he turn it around? And how close to 100% will he be? Is he vulnerable to the top contenders like Jaden Lowe and Angelo Fortino?
Yeah, and Jaden Lowe at his last meet, just in November, put just about 30 kilos on his best total.
Well, if he puts another 30, this is big trouble for Joe B. And of course, Angelo, massive deadlift himself. But first, 240 kilos for Charles Hammond.
Charles competed at last year's nationals.
That was good. That was a nice, smooth opener for Charles. $242.5. Devraj Roy.
This is also going to be his first time on the PA national stage.
And talk about a first time to be in the middle of a battle like this. Now, is that the first time nationals period or prime time?
I think period.
Wow.
And you're in the same flight as Joseph Borenstein.
Alex Lucky Lacau, 240 kilos, opening squat. Lucky coached by Marcellus.
Alex has been a big player in the 83 kilo class for quite a few years now, but this is going to be his first time on the Powerlifting America national stage. And of course, he's going to be in prime time.
Taking his time with this first opening squat. You got 60 seconds. You can use it. No problem on depth. Wow, that was smooth. And that's why you take your time if you're a veteran. No need to rush it. 250 kilos for Steven Gravascio.
Going to be his first time on the open national stage. He competed at age division nationals in Reno last year.
Now he's hit as heavy as 277.5. Makes easy work at 250. And thus far, I like the attempt selection by all the handling teams. Nobody opening too heavy. 250 stays on the bar. Luke Medina. Judging by his previous 285, this should also be an appropriate opener.
Also going to be his first time at Open Nationals. Nice work. Could be planning for some big jumps. I did peep him cutting some weight very close to the deadline. So they could be testing the waters. I like that attempt selection.
Tony Hinson, 260 kilos.
Tony's been on the world stage in the juniors. Looking to have some fun in the prime time.
Hits depth, another smooth, easy opener. Adriana, as we await some of the top end openers here, how much do you think can be played into the fact that Joe B might not be 100%?
I think that could definitely come into play, especially when you got lifters like Jaden Lowe, Angelo Fortino, potentially gunning for that spot if Joey B has an off day.
Zarek Jarvis, 265.
Being blessed, coached by Bless Petrie himself. Got some experience on the national stage from last year. Let's see how this opener goes.
Oh, that was a stitch shaky, and he looks, whoa, shaky at the top. Shakes his head, not too sure what's going on there. We'll have a quick conversation with Petrie as they discuss where do we go from here. 272.5 for Jaden Lowe. Jaden popped on everybody's radar, registering a monster total with a huge final deadlift. Put the 83s on notice. I had openly questioned online and on the podcast, is he potentially Joe B's biggest threat? Well, now that Joe B is forced to do a 5-week turnaround, that threat has increased. 272.5. Sorry, you're about to say.
Yeah, Jaden Lowe is yet another young lifter. We always talk about how young Joey B is. Jaden is 21 years old.
21 and only been competing. Oh my gosh. Wow.
How much progress can he make?
So, yeah, 21, and he's fresh 21, and he's only been competing 2 years. You had already said 30 kilos on his total previously. He's making 30 kilo jumps on his total. Speaking of Joe B, 290 kilos for Joe B. Joe has hit as heavy as 307.5. Sorry, 280 kilos. Now, I had asked Joe B, how do you feel? He said, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm probably not 100%. I don't think I have to be 100% to win this. It's bold, it's confident, but he is the reigning world champion, the first 83 to ever cross the 900 kilo barrier.
And I remember that moment from last year's national championships when he was going against Taylor Atwood himself.
Let's see how he moves 280. All right, Mount shook his head, looks confident.
He looks very confident.
Yeah, and you never know where you're gonna be at. With this type of turnaround, you're hoping for the best, you're talking bold, trying to almost convince yourself, but until you hit the platform, it's all question marks. I'm not saying all the questions have been answered, but so far so good. 285 for Sean Jin. Junior star, campaigning in the open.
Junior World Champion 2022. Just kept going around there.
Nice smooth opener for Sean.
Looks good to me. Previous junior world champion, and I remember when he was talking a lot of trash with Delaney Wallace online. I remember those days.
Yeah, Delaney was the open world champ. Sean was the junior world champ. This is going back 2022 era. Feels like eons ago. Angelo Fortino, 287.5. Angelo has a monster squat, monster deadlift. If he goes 3 for 3, he's a threat. And this is where if Jaden and Joe B start battling, extending.
If he hits this, and he's definitely going to be
Looks like a good second attempt.
Phillips with 3 white lights. We look for a 5.95.
270 for Zarek Jarvis, and this is probably the appropriate call. 265 seemed to be fuddling a little why it was so heavy. Not sure if it's a misgroove, the bar just got out of the normal pathway. We're gonna find out. 5 kilos up.
Yeah, and if you're the lifter, you really have to prove to your coach, to your handler, that you can handle bigger jumps. So I agree. I think this is the right call. Let's see how it goes. Much better.
Much better. A simple misgroove.
Almost looks like he's kind of mad at himself.
Yeah, well, that's what I expected from my opener. Petrie's convinced. But from here, what are we thinking? 5 kilos, 7.5?
I think they could go 10, but it is a bit risky now, given that you just jumped 5. But I do think that was the appropriate call, given how the opener looked.
270 stays on the bar. Luke Medina.
Big 20-kilo jump. But I do remember his opener looked quite easy.
$20-kilo jump on squats. Not for the faint of hearts. Medina, unbowed. 275 now being loaded for Lucky.
Lucky Luckow. I think we can say he's one of the fan favorites here. I last saw him compete at Rising Tide. Debut on the PA national stage. $15 keys under his best, but he did take a 25-kilo jump.
He took his time setting up for his opener, taking his time here. Ooh, a little slower, but never gets pulled out of position. Chest up, bar path up and down.
I do wonder where they're going to go from there. Because that's the thing about those craftsmanship jumps. You conserve energy, but then you're kind of risking a little bit more if you take that big jump to your third.
Well, certainly if you miss your second, you're way further back than you would like. 280 for Tony Hinson.
Just 5 keys under his best. He's got more in him.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if they go another 10 kilos over that.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And 287.5 for Jaden Lowe. $10 kilos over what he hit towards the end of last year with 297.5.
And I mean, he looked on point with that first attempt. I'm very interested to see how this goes.
15-kilo jump. If he's going to catch Joe B, you got to think he's got to go over his previous personal best, dip into the 300-kilo range. He has a gap he's got to close if he's going to be a legitimate threat for that national title and a world team spot. He cannot be pleased and satisfied with just matching a previous PR. He's got to make this look convincing. Oh. Depth for sure.
Yeah, he buried that squat.
So what do you think for his third attempt?
I don't know. I could see 12 and a half, 15. His previous best was 10 kilos over, and like you mentioned, if he's gonna catch Joey B, he's gonna have to show that he's making some progress.
Speaking of Joe B, 297.5 for his second attempt. Now's where we're gonna get a bit more of an indicator where he's at. 10 kilos below his personal best. He made his opener move fast, but it was an opener. He estimated he's at about 95%. If 307.5 is 100%, 297.5 should be work. Oh, it is a bit of work too. And this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting, Adriana.
It was a little bit of work, but it didn't look like all too much work. I am very interested to see where he goes for his third.
I'm just being honest with you. I turn into a body language expert come these commentating sessions. He didn't look nearly as confident as after his opener. I think this is going to be a relatively close battle now. Sean Jin, 300 kilos even. Sean has gone as heavy as 317.5. 15 kilo jump here. Good second attempt. I don't think he's going to jump up to his personal best on the day. 307.5 now, being loaded for Angelo Fortino. Being handled by John Song.
Angelo's got a personal best of 322.5.
Slow and steady. Ooh. A little bit of work about halfway up.
I think he saw me giggling a bit. He just looked a little bit shaken up. But that's a good lift, 2-1.
It just, you got to ask the question.
I'm sorry.
How much more is he going to go on? 322.5. I don't think he's going to go around PR territory. I don't think we're going to see that kind of a push. I'm guessing 7.5 kilos. You want to go 3 for 3. Stay tight. Joe B and Jaden are gonna push each other, and they might start missing.
Yeah, and let's say we get to the deadlifts, and one of them could only make their opener. Hey, then he's got a shot for second, maybe even first.
Look what happened yesterday. When you look at the Battle of the 66s, everyone was talking about these big 720, 730 totals. 710 ends up winning it. Sometimes you stay in the pocket and you pick your battles. 257.5 for Charles Hemmings.
And just to go back for 1 second, that's the thing about a lifter like Angelo. He's been around the block. He knows what it's like to get on the national stage, and maybe you're not good for a PR, but you gotta go for what you got on the day. Gets that squat command just in time. Ooh.
Oh, that's a fight. Charles stands up with it. Judges give it to him, 257.5.
Oh yeah, hits the celly after. That's a 5 kilo PR for Charles. And that was a good call there from the coach. Hats off.
257.5 stays on the bar for Ben. And thus far, on the men's side, not a single missed lift, although we've had a couple close calls, some fights, but all the gentlemen able to hit depth, push past any sticking points. And that bar started flying like wings at the top.
Another PR on the board.
So if you're wondering, Joe Bornstein deciding to go 305, just 2.5 kilos below his personal best. The way 297.5 moved, it's a 50-50 lift, I think.
I think that's a good call. I've seen him grind out lifts, and he is going after Jaden, so he could have seen that Jaden had opted to match his PR on the third.
272.5 for Steven. Nice third attempt. Yeah, Jaden, 297.5 on the board for his third squat. That will match his previous personal best. So if Joe B comes down just a stitch and Jaden is so far looking to match his personal best, the pressure's still on Jaden to try to catch up to Joe B. There is a gap between their PR totals. Where are those kilos going to come from? You can't pull it all onto your bench press and deadlift.
I don't know.
And this is where Joe B, he can go 305. He's not the one who's got to mitigate any gaps. 272.5 for Roy.
$10-kilo PR if he makes this. Stands up with it. Judges say
2-1, it's good. 280 kilos now for Zarek Jarvis. Had a bit of a sketchy 265 opener. Collected himself, made 270 look appropriate, and he takes a big 10-kilo jump. Petrie asking him convince me with the 270.
And I think it was convincing. I think
No, I agree.
he could have this in him.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and Petrie on the side shaking his head. Where might he have been had he not had such a shaky opener?
I think he could have had 285, 287.
Yeah.
But hey,
It was the right call to make.
I think that's a win. After that opening attempt, you walk away 3 for 3. You match your personal best squat.
290 kilos now being loaded for Tony Hinson.
Another PR attempt. No stranger to the big stage. He's competed at Junior Worlds back in 2024.
He knows where the elite level standards are for depth.
Oh, and he hits that depth and he stands up with it.
You know, when he hit the depth, there's a bit of a shift at the bottom, but he's just too strong to get jockeyed and bullied out of position.
Yeah, I'd almost worried that I saw that. I almost worried that he got too out of position there.
290 stays on the bar for Luke Medina. 20-kilo jump, took 20 kilos from his opener, and taking 20 kilos from his second. If anything else, he's got a lot of energy conservation going on. But at the top end, ooh, you're gonna feel that 20 kilos. Oh, helicoptering, but he is just so strong. Whoa. Talk about a fight for your third attempt. And that barbell started helicoptering, and the bar path was all types of wonky.
And that's where that risk with those big jumps pay off. You conserve that energy.
Yeah.
You got to believe in yourself. And
Yeah,
he did, and his handler did too.
Lucky's back with 295. If you like 20-kilo jumps, here's another one. 25-kilo jump from his opener. 20-kilo jump from his second. Percentage-wise, smaller jump than we just seen from Medina. And not a single one of these 83s has missed a lift.
If he hits, this would be a 5-kilo PR for Mr. Lucky. This is it. There we go. Bit too much on the day. Thanks, Ryan. You enacted the commentator's
No,
curse.
hey, I hate you say that. I actually said it earlier in the session. Nobody missed, so.
Whatever. You can have a talk with Lucky about that.
That would I do not own. 297.5 for Jaden Lowe, and Jaden looking to match his PR squat.
And you know what the interesting thing about this battle is? Jaden actually has a PR deadlift a chip over Joseph's best.
873 was his total coming into this.
And we kind of know Joey B as that big puller, but Jaden could be pulling last. And if he looks to match his squat PR here, conserving that energy, we'll see how it shakes out. Oh my goodness.
Nice catch by the spotters.
I think he just fell back on his heels a bit, or maybe squatted a bit too deep. I thought he was for sure good for that based on his second attempt.
I would have to go back and take a look at how his squats usually look. They are extremely deep, but some people like a little bit of bounce at the bottom. Dive bomb it in. Sean Jin, 305. Relatively conservative 5-kilo jump. That was right on the money for attempt selection for Sean in his handling.
Nice call there from John Song.
Yeah. Got every kilo they could out of their lifter, and here's Joe B. You know he's seen how Jaden missed his third. Joe has an opportunity to respond now with 305. Second attempt, little bit of work, but when he ratchets up that intensity, he can find another gear.
Let's see it. There we go.
Oh, yeah. And that's just 2.5 kilos below his personal best.
That was convincing.
Yeah, that was convincing. If Joe isn't 100%, he's 99.9. Big trouble for the 83s. Angelo Fortino, 317.5.
5 keys under his best. This is our only 700-pound squat in the flight.
Bit of a sticking point with 307, but we've seen some of these lifters have a sticking point, come back, battle through it.
And Angelo knows how to fight.
Small corrections can go a long way.
This is it, let's go.
So much smoother than the second.
A lot smoother. What are the judges going to say?
2-1, it's good. And you gotta wonder what exactly happened on that second attempt.
And it's a risky move to jump up 10 keys after that second attempt. Hats off to Angelo Fortino.
I agree with you, and we are gonna have a quick interview and recap of the battle we just saw with none other than perennial 83-kilo contender Sean Noriega. And Nori, I guess we'll start first with the women's. What did you think about Celine Crum and Janae Kovacs going toe-to-toe, both of them 3 for 3 in the squats?
I mean, they are both gamers. Like, the intensity that both of them brought, to be able to answer to Janae's squat like that, obviously we know that she's the fiery one, comes out guns blazing every attempt. To be able to answer back to a grind like that, knowing that, hey, this is my strength and I need to hit this lift in order to keep up, I mean, that's just good powerlifting.
Still far too close to call. And as we look at the 83s, I don't need to talk to you about how close this battle is. Were you surprised? First off, Jaden missing his third and final. Joe B hitting his third, slightly below his PR. And then Angelo, bit of a shaky second attempt. Looked like, oh gosh, should he go up 10 kilos? And hits it so smooth, makes you wonder what happened over a second.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened on Angelo's second. I'm sure he'll have an answer for us. But yeah, that's a tough one for Jaden, because coming into this meet, you know, obviously Joe is coming off of the Sheffield performance, and with how a lot of us train nowadays, it's tough to make a turnaround that quick, because you just take those big week 1 to week 4 buildups, and you never know if that Sheffield block was like, okay, this is the end of the momentum. Do I have enough to turn it around? But as soon as I saw his opener, I knew that he was coming to play. So that's a costly miss for Jaden, but we'll see what happens on pulls.
What do you think, if you're going to try to analyze, what do you think happened with Jaden? Because the big picture is if the strength is there, still in play.
Yep.
If the strength is not there, major discussions have to happen from here on out.
Yeah, so from my perspective, you know, a lot of new lifters, they just can bottom out squats. You know, I think about the way that some of us used to lift when we were a bit younger. It's a little easier to get down there, but then the cost of that is if you don't groove it just right, it's the difference between a make or a miss versus, you know, we get older, we get a little stiffer, the squats become more borderline, you start lifting like Angelo, and, you know, there's no miss grooves, but, you know, depth's a little closer.
And if we take a look at Joe B, second attempt, looking at it live, I had questioned, looked a little bit stiffer than I would have thought.
Yep.
And then third squat comes out, you're kind of wondering, wow, looked a lot better than the second, or a little more convincing. Now, sometimes a little bit more intensity, you find another gear, and it becomes more convincing like that.
Yeah.
Is a possibility of a 5-week turnaround. Jaden missed, Angelo hit, Joe B hit. Is this still anybody's game, though, because there's a lot more lifting left to go?
You know, when I saw Taylor pull out of the meet, I think that it alleviated a lot of pressure for Joe, because he doesn't have to fight the two-front battle of defending against a subtotal guy like Taylor and then a deadlift hero like Jaden. So you get a lot more freedom to kind of just pace along in those first 2 lifts and then just put it into Jaden's hands at the end. So I think a lot of the pressure was on Jaden to hit that third squat, and I'd love to see a battle, but I don't know. I think Joe might have punched it.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yep.
Thank you for your expert insight.
Yep.
We will have Sean back after the bench press. Make sure you do return. We're going to take a short 7-minute break, and then we will be there for the bench press.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, sir.
Gathers himself, takes the lead. That is big trouble. Wow, what a battle. And they are lighting it up on this platform. Sold out crowd, got the money's worth today.
And welcome back as we pick up the action for the women's 63 and 69 kilo clash for the American title and, of course, opportunity to represent USA at the World Championships. Sydney Hunter, 70 kilos even for her opening bench.
We had a nice squat session between Janae and Celine in the 69s.
It's a long way up, long way down with those long arms, but those are deadlift arms.
Exactly what I was thinking. And when you're a deadlifter like that, you're disadvantaged in the bench. Just go 3 for 3. Hold your ground. Put on a show in the deads.
82.5 for Maggie Stout.
As well as the IPF Powerlifting Championships.
Maggie's got a personal best of 90 keys.
Three white lights. 85 kilos now being loaded for Audrey Myers. Audrey 2 for 3 in the bench, or sorry, in the squat event. She's managed 92.5 previously.
And someone like Audrey, only been competing for about 4 years. Her first time in the prime time. You want to have some fun, and that's a nice looking opener there.
That is a good one, 2-1.
95 kilos for Daisy Garcia.
For Daisy Ariella Garcia of Oregon. 95 kilos.
We are staying in the 63 kilo class.
Daisy placed 4th at last year's Nationals in a weight class up. Going to be one of our contenders for the podium. Nice start there.
107.5 being loaded for Angelina Martinez. Angelina went 2 for 3 in the squat event.
Seven and a half under her best. She went 2 for 3 in the squats, but she attempted that PR. And I mean, behind Celine and Janae, it's looking like she's gonna wrap up the bronze. You wanna have some fun on the primetime stage.
Nice opening bench press.
Starting off strong.
Raised up to 259 for Celine Crum of South Carolina. Bar is loaded.
Celine Crum, 117.5 as we move back to the battle of the 69s. Celine, 3 for 3 in the squats, 215.5, collecting a national record and, of course, potentially pivotal chip. Had a minute, was able to discuss with Janae what she was hoping for in the bench press event, and she was saying, I'm going to recover the ground I lost in squats between the two of us. Hopefully close that book in deadlifts.
Yeah, I mean, Celine's opening, and that looked like a strong opening attempt from Celine. She opened 10 kilos under her best, whereas Janae in a few lifters is going to be opening up 5 kilos under her best.
120 for Hannah Peterson.
Tiny bit slow off the chest, but
Yeah.
still strong.
I was about to say maybe a conservative second attempt. And here's Janae, and you're right. So 5 kilos below her personal best. However, between the two ladies, and it's difficult because Celine doesn't show a lot of her prep, but Janae shows all of it. And Janae has made huge strides in prep, massive weights being lifted. Her attitude, I'll show you what I got, what I'm coming in with, because I'm planning on winning regardless, and it's not going to help you. Confidence never lacking with Janae Kovacs. 122.5.
Nice.
4 for 4 for both of these ladies. A chef's kiss as she admires her handiwork. 132.5 for Megan Scanlon as we move back to the 63s.
And Meg has definitely had to make some adjustments to her bench press, given the new rules just in effect a couple days back.
Now, we had mentioned this is a bit of a redemption arc for Megan. I'm wondering what total she wants. She feels will take that bad taste out of her mouth. $132.5, offering little resistance for Megan.
Gets one red on depth from the center referee, but she's on the board.
Back to top of the order, second round of benching, 77.5 for Sydney Hunter, 7.5 kilo jump.
And with Megan, she definitely did not have the performance she wanted at Sheffield, only going 1 for 3 in the bench. So it's nice to see her easily get that opener in, see where she goes from there.
Sid, opening the lightest in bench, but opening the heaviest in deadlifts. She can gain a lot of ground. And see what the judges say. 2-1. I thought I seen her head lift up.
I thought I'd seen that too.
If I'm honest. Her coach approaching the jury. Maggie Stout, 87.5.
Solid 5 kilo jump here.
Nicely done.
Easy work. And you see the coach, Carrington, kind of celebrating. I think they're going to jump another 5 from there, stack up those PRs.
Speaking 5 kilo jumps, 5 kilos up from 85 kilos for Audrey Myers. Second attempt. Oh, no lift there.
I think that's going to be red cards for depth.
Coach contesting that one. As 100 kilos even loaded for Daisy Garcia.
Runs onto the platform. She's always a fun competitor to watch. 100 keys, just 2.5 under her best. Looking for a podium finish in the class.
It's going to be a tight race for the podium between her and Sydney, but Sid needs to secure another bench press. She's got a deadlift, but for every kilo that Sid can get in the bench press event, it's 1 kilo less. She's got a deadlift if she's going to make a play for the podium. 112.5 for Angelina Martinez as we move back to the 69s.
Got a best of 115 in the bench.
Yeah, we're getting close.
If this goes well, let's see how it moves.
Oh, you know what? I think maybe load up 115.
I'd have to agree with you there, Ryan. The bench is always finicky with how fast the brakes come on.
Hannah Peterson, 122.5.
Hannah just opting for a 2.5 kilo jump. And I think this is the right call. Her opener looked a touch slow.
And this will equal her previous personal best, so we're near the top end. Oh.
Thank goodness she got that opener in. Looks like she had a little bit of a longer press command, so I could just see them repeating that on the third or even scratching it all together just to save that energy.
125 for Celine Crum. How important is this bench? Well, this is 2.5 kilos below her personal best, and she is in a head-to-head collision course with Janae Kovacs, who's waiting in the wings. Very important 7.5 kilo gain onto her total should she hit this. But we are getting close to that top end. Oh, Celine is on today. Celine is on today, and the battle continues.
And I wonder where they're going to go from there. If they're going to jump 2.5 to match her best.
You know what?
Or if you got to play aggressive and go 5.
It's tough. You don't want to miss. She got a PR and a chip in the squat. In bench press, it could fall off a cliff. Janae Kovacs, 127.5, 5 kilo jump. She's hit this before. And in prep, she was hitting all types of PRs.
Yeah, and her opener, it looked convincing.
No major cuts for Janae. No reason for any kind of shaky performance. And Janae responds back. 5 for 5 in the battle of the 69s. Everyone said coming in, you can't miss. It's too close. Well, these ladies are not missing. Janae wanted to pick up some kilos that she, in terms of the gap between the two of them after the squats. And then, of course, with her, the bigger deadlift, she thinks that's where she's going to win it. We got a lot more lifting left to go before that, though. 137.5. Megan Scanlon, 5 kilo jump, 132.5 was easy.
I think this is the right call. Especially given, of course, the quick turnaround from Sheffield, the adjustments to the rules.
She hit this at Sheffield, and she hits it again, and that was smooth.
That looks smooth.
Last couple of 63 kilo performances for Megan. She capped out at 137.5. Let's see if she can improve upon that today. As Sid taking another swing at 77.5. I think she can have it. The strength is there. She just has to keep her head in contact with that bench press. If she keeps her head touching the bench, I think she's going to pick up another 7.5 kilos for her total. And she'll resume the hunt for a podium finish. There it is.
And it almost looked easier than her second attempt.
Yeah.
I held my breath a little there, but that's going to be 7.5 kilos less that she's going to have to load up in the deads.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting all around. As we move back to the 63, no, we stay, sorry, in the 63 kilo class. It is also a 63, 90 kilos. Audrey Myers.
Repeating this weight, she missed this 2-to-1 on depth on her second attempt.
Nicely done.
Moves easily. Judges say it's good.
Oh, wow, I see Will Ball in the wings. Looks like he's helping a teammate perform. Will Ball, of course, in a highly anticipated clash for the 93 kilo national title and team selection for the World Championships later on this year. Maggie Stout, 92.5. 2.5 kilo personal best should she hit it.
I think she's got this in the bag. Her second attempt was smooth and easy. I mean, I know Maggie, she's an executionist. Let's see it.
No.
Nice. That was easy. Nice job for Maggie. 2-to-1, she gets a blue card, and I believe the blue card is indicating the new bench rules where I forgot the exact wording, something about you can't assist using your upper body.
Daisy Garcia, 102.5. Daisy battling for a podium spot. Her and Sid Hunter currently in the forecasted total, which takes these bench press and adds on your opening deadlift. 465 to 460 with Daisy in the lead by that 5 kilos. This is close. Here's 2.5 kilos she could add to that total if she can hit this.
Nice job.
Yeah, and she does, and she's gonna need it because Sid Hunter has a huge deadlift. And the battle continues there. 115 now being loaded for Angelina Martinez as we move into the 69 kilo class.
I think this is a good call. Her second attempt was a tad bit slow. Just jump up that minimum amount.
Yeah, I'm guessing this one's gonna be a fight. 112.5. Look pretty close to the top end on the day.
I know, she's got the fight in her.
Well, sometimes lifters will kick it into another gear.
There we go.
Yeah.
She's a fighter.
3 white lights.
3 for 3 in the bench.
Back to the wall, she responds. 122.5 now for Hannah Peterson. 120 for opener. Looked a little heavier than you thought an opener should. 122.5 was a no-go in the second attempt. Has an opportunity. Level up, grab this 2.5 kilos, put it onto her total. Oh, wow, and she looks like she's done it.
What a comeback for Hannah. Beautiful job there.
Yep. As we move back to the 69 kilo class, Celine the Machine, 127.5. This will match her personal best. And I honestly think this is a good move. 2.5 kilos is a big jump in the bench press. They need to go 6 for 6 if possible. Very close battle. 125 was smooth enough. This is definitely within reach. Something she's done before.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, Ryan. I think it's a good call, given that you're in a fight and every attempt counts.
Oh.
And it's not going to go today.
Yeah, in a direct head-to-head, she misses first. However, she misses and there's 2.5 kilos left on the table. But you know that is that is only going to inspire Janae Kovacs, who's seen that miss. 130. Janae knows this is a national junior record and an opportunity to start moving ahead.
And we already know that Janae is going to have the last say. She's got the bigger pool. Would give her the opportunity to load up 2.5 less.
Looking at the forecast, she is in the lead. A lot of lifting left to go. But there's 2.5 kilos less she'll have to pull to solidify that win. Oh my goodness! Nope. Waves it off. And both ladies missing the third attempt bench.
And they're dead even.
And we're right back to dead even. Well, we promised you would be tight, close, and these ladies remain jogging shoulder to shoulder as we enter the deadlifts. One more bench press to go, 143.5 for Megan Scanlon as we return to the 63 kilo class.
She set this record at last year's Nationals in Atlanta. Hit her first 2 attempts, getting comfortable with those new rules. Now they're going to load up the record.
National record here. She wanted some redemption. Walking away with a national record will help that. Oh, nope, too much on the day, and walks away with 137.5 again.
And to be fair, they did jump up. I believe it was like 5.5, 6 kilos. But I think it's safe to say that none of the other 63 kilo lifters are going to catch her. She's well in the lead. She's a seasoned veteran. Why not go for it?
Luke Medina, 145, as we enter into the second flight, men's 83 kilo class, where Joe B looking to defend his title against Angelo Fortino, who went 3 for 3, and Jaden Lowe, who went 2 for 3.
Easy work. Quite a bit under his vest, but he did take those huge jumps, which paid off in the squat.
Steven Gervasio, 150.
Went 3 for 3 in the squats, continuing that momentum.
Very fast, the technical lift was good for Stephen. Picking up the 336 pounds for Charles Hammonds of Texas. Bar is loaded.
$152.5 for Charles Hammonds.
Charles had a nice squat event, walking away with a PR. Easy work. Shrugs it off like it's nothing.
Our next lifter is Zari Jarvis, opening weight 341 pounds.
155 for Jarvis. Zarek went 3 for 3 in the squat event, 280 kilos.
Bit of a similar story to his opening squat, where it's a little more difficult than you expect for an opener.
But if he follows the same pattern, second will be smooth, third will be even smoother than that. And he'll have a conversation with Brendan Petrie. Petrie, though, in the squat event, to your point, needed to be convinced to load up. I'm wondering what they're going to put for his second Benjamin. Winder with 155.
First time on the PA national stage, went 3 for 3 in the squats. Almost flew off his chest there.
Tony Hinson up next, 155 kilos.
Georgia strong. This is just 2.5 under his best. Nice.
Handles it well. So far, 4 for 4 for the day, 3 white lights.
Clearly has made some progress.
165 for Sean Jin. Sean, perfect execution on that 305 for his third squat. John Song, his coach, loading exactly what they needed.
Yeah, and I mean, both athlete and coach here, very experienced in the game. They're going to make the right calls.
Easy opener for Sean.
That's a good look for Sean. Pick up the 369 for Angelo Fortino.
167.5 for Angelo Fortino.
Bars loaded for Ray.
Angelo also 3 for 3 in the squats.
And between disciplines, I did have a chance to catch up with him. I don't think we could see it from here, but I think he did hit the upright on that second attempt, so that's why it was a little bit weird. Hopefully no issues in the bench. This is 10 kilos under his best.
Easy opener
Easy.
for Angelo.
Good opener for Angelo. We remain at 369. Bar is loaded for Deadlifts Roy of New Jersey.
$167.5. Deborah Roy.
Had the 10 kilo PR in the squats. Just 5 keys under his best. First time on the primetime stage.
Ooh, a little bit of work for Dev.
I think I would take a conservative jump from there.
Yeah.
Please look at bar to 385 for Alex Lookout of Minnesota. The bar is loaded.
Lookout, 175. He's previously hit 185.
We're not too far off of that. Went 2 for 3 in the squats. Going to be looking to build back up some momentum here. Nicely done.
Yeah, move like an opener should. Jaden Lowe up next, 182.5. Jaden's previous personal best, 197.5. Depending how bench goes, and of course deadlifts, Jaden might need to reset his sights from Joe B to Angelo Fortino.
Yeah, he had a bit of a surprising miss there for his last squat.
Bench is on point.
Super fast descent.
Defending national champion, reigning world champion, reigning world record holder, Joseph Bornstein, 207.5.
Huge bench press here for his opening attempt.
Yeah, his top end is 219. We're actually not too far off of that. Nice
And that looks
smooth
easy.
opener. Yeah.
He's on point.
And for Joe B, looking how squats played out for Jaden Lowe, he doesn't need to be as aggressive. If he gets too aggressive at this point and starts missing, that's when the battle is back. But as for right now, if he could go 3 for 3, he can convince Angelo and Jaden the battle's really between those two. Who's getting silver, who's getting bronze, but gold is mine. Steven Gervasio, 157.5.
Yeah, and like you mentioned for Joey B, we aren't too far off his best.
Now just 2.5 kilos off of his PR squat, considering it's a 5-week turnaround.
That was a nice second attempt bench from Steven.
Yet to be determined where Joe's going to be on the day for his bench press. 160, Zerek Jarvis. $5-kilo jump from his opener. Oh my goodness. He locks it out, but it took a titanic effort. And his back is all types of tight. And this is where a lot of people, obviously it's a bench press and you're thinking about the upper body, but that lower back can tighten up, impacting your deadlift later. That's why some lifters, if it's a big grinder on the second, opt not to come out for their third. And Charles Hammonds, 162.5.
Charles, this would match his PR. Sizable 10-kilo jump from his opener. See how it goes for him.
Pretty smooth second attempt considering the jump.
Pretty smooth, a bit shaky, but he is, in my opinion, has got more in the tank.
Bar is loaded for Tony Henson.
Tony Hinson, 162.5.
Tony last competed at Rising Tide back in August of last year, and he's already pacing a bit above that. This will be a PR for him if he hits this.
Oh, it's a very difficult second attempt and just not there. He will have one more attempt, but if that was strength, 165, Luke Medina.
Ooh, 20-kilo jump.
And that's an absolutely huge jump in the bench press event in any weight class, let alone the 83s.
I mean, we were talking about how he was taking big 20-kilo jumps in the squat.
Yeah, but
Bench is a whole different story, but he handles it well.
yeah, I mean, there's conserving your energy, and then there's whatever strategy this is. I'm not used to seeing it. It's the Luke Medina strategy now. Ben's coming out to 167.5, a little more conservative, 12.5 kilo jump.
Yeah, a little more conservative.
He's done 175 before.
Nice. Easy weight, first time at Open Nationals. Having some fun in the prime time.
172.5, 5 kilo jump for Angelo Fortino. Angelo, according to the forecast, pacing for second.
Yeah, according to the forecast, and we know there's a lot more lifting to be done, but 7.5 kilos ahead of Jaden Lowe.
And you want to talk about a battle of the deadlifts that's about to ensue between Angelo Fortino, Jaden Lowe, and Joe Borenstein. But first, nice second attempt for Angelo.
Nice work. Think they're going to jump another solid 5 kilos from there.
Sean Jin, 172.5. Sean, pinpoint 3 for 3 in the squat event. He has previously gone as heavy as 195. Easy and smooth, a lot more there.
Currently pacing for 4th place. Kind of looking at his coach, saying like, hey, why didn't you put more on? But he's pacing for 4th, and we know that he's up for a fight if it comes down to it between 4th and 5th.
172.5 for Dev. Upping 5 kilos from his opener, matching his previous personal best.
Yeah, and his opener was a bit stickier than you would expect. So relatively conservative 5 kilo jump. I'm not gonna have your hand at the Luke Medina strategy.
9-year veteran for Dev Roy. wow. Brakes came on about an inch away from lockout. Elbows flared out and just not able to recover.
Now, if it's a strength thing, I honestly wouldn't be mad if they scratch the third.
Alex Lucky 180 for his second attempt. 5 kilo jump.
Yeah, a bit of a different strategy than they were taking in the squats. If you recall, he did jump 20 keys from his second to third, and unfortunately missed that third attempt.
Definitely slower.
I think that was a good call there.
2.5 or 5 kilos?
I don't know.
He does not look overly confident as he exits the platform. 192.5 for Jaden Lowe. Jaden previously hit 197.5 at SBD Austin. Now this is 5 kilos below that.
Yeah, and honestly, kind of what you were alluding to earlier, I think at this point, now we don't want to write the story early, but with that missed third attempt squat and with how good Joey B's opening bench looked, and him also taking a 10 kilo jump, could be in a bit of a horse race here with Angelo Fortino.
And if we're honest, he's going to need these kilos if he's going to best Angelo in a head-to-head.
1,000%. Now, he's got that big deadlift on him. I believe his best is 378. But
the thing is, Angelo's got a monster dead himself. Historically speaking, Jaden will pull after Angelo if he's 100%.
But the history's not long, honestly.
Right. Well, that's true, too.
Angelo's got experience behind him.
217.5. 10 kilo jump from his opener in just 1.5 kilos off of his top end.
And his top end is the current 83 kilo world record. Oh, I don't know if he jumped that rack, man.
2-1, it's good. So, having said that, does he load up a record here? Grab a chip, not that I think it's going to come down to a chip. He's building a sizable lead.
Yeah, I mean, based on forecast, if he only walked away with his second bench and only walked away with his deadlift opener, he's already sitting above his Sheffield total at 857.5.
162.5 for Steven.
I think you could pick up the chip, add those extra 2 keys, set a bench PR. I don't think it's that big of a risk for Joseph Borenstein. Oh, and they put on 221.5. I just peeped.
Wow, okay, so. A little too much for Steven on the day. Having said that, so the wheels really need to fall off for Joe Borenstein in the deadlifts for him to be upset at this point.
Yeah, and he had told you that, of course, he's not feeling 100%, 105%. He still squatted 305, and he just benched 217.5.
And he's loading up a personal best for his third attempt. Tony Hinson, 162.5.
Relatively speaking, I think Joey B could get close to 900, even with the short turnaround from Sheffield. Tony's repeating this from his second attempt. See if he can correct.
Wow, nice recovery for Tony.
Nicely done.
3 white lights. Charles Hammonds, 167.5. Third and final bench press.
5 kilo PR if he hits. In the sport for 8 years. And even though we're talking about Joey B, Angelo Fortino, Jaden Lowe in terms of the deadlifts, Charles has got a deadlift on him.
Yeah, opening with 350 kilos.
Ooh.
Oh,
Bit of a long press command there. I think he was potentially wobbling a little bit.
no, there was definitely some wobble. Ref wanted to see that comfortably on the chest with no movement.
369.
In 167.5 for Zarek Jarvis.
Even Stevens, 7.5 kilo jumps. I don't think he's gonna come out for this actually. Or maybe he's, I don't know.
No, I think he's gonna let it time down. And listen, we talked about this earlier. It is not just the upper body and your lower back tenses up 7.5 kilos. You still got the deadlift to come. As we take a look at the forecasts, and so far in the 83s, Angelo with 822.5 and Jaden 815. Now a lot can happen. Final round of benching and all the deadlifts.
Joseph Borenstein forecasted at 861.5.
It's a sizable spread at this point. We got to be honest. You got to call it like you see it. Disaster really does need to strike for anybody to catch up to Joe B at this point, but there is a battle for second. And that second is not just the silver medal. Who's going to go to North Americans? If you're close enough a second, does USA send 283s? You never know. You got to be as tight as possible. Devroy, 172.5.
Repeating this from his second attempt. Missed on strength. Hopefully he can come back and hit this.
Oh, nope, a little too much.
Give it up for Jeff Roman. Angelo Fortino will follow it.
177.5 for Angelo Fortino. He's hit this in the past. I think this is a good call.
I think this is a good call too.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a very close battle with Jaden. If he reaches and overreaches, it does open up the door for Jaden to close that gap. And it's not an insurmountable gap, especially if you have a deadlift like Jaden. Nope, not on the day.
So now that's going to put his forecasted total.
He'll bring it back down.
817.5.
Wow, this is...
The deadlifts are going to get interesting.
Yeah.
Especially with chips involved.
Sean Jin, 177.5, and there will be chips involved. Jaden's broken the national record before. Obviously, so has Joe B. Angelo a little behind, but not much. Also has a monster deadlift.
There we go.
Sean feeling good.
3 for 3.
Yeah,
Pacing for 4th place.
6 for 6 so far. Ben Winder, 180. Third and final.
Big jump here, 12.5. Not quite as much as the Luke Medina method coming up. If he hits this, this would give him a 5 kilo personal best. Nicely done. It's hard to make those calls for bigger jumps and know where the top end lies.
Yeah, you're kind of shooting in the dark there. You don't have a lot of data points off that second, off that opener. You got to really trust the prep and hope that those numbers you hit in prep are going to come onto the platform. Alex, 182.5, 2.5 kilo jump. I'm okay with that. 180. He didn't look overly convinced when he was leaving the platform.
I'd have to agree. I think this is a good call here. Nicely done, 3 for 3 in the bench.
Good attempt selection. They got the most out of him. 185 for Luke Medina.
20 kilo jump. The Luke Medina method.
Yeah. The Luke Medina method.
Let's see if it hits for
So
19-year-old in prime time.
talking about those data points, what can you glean from 165 when you're about, I don't know, I think I got about 185 on the day based off of that 165. That's a, you really got to have a lot of faith in. But here we are.
Maybe they know something we don't know. Let's see. I really wish he got that. And I mean, he's 19. He's on the primetime stage for the first time. Have some fun with it. Take those 20 kilo jumps.
197.5 now for Jaden Lowe. If Jaden hits this in the forecasted total, he's at 815. Angelo in the forecasted total, 817.5. How close is this one? Joe B, of course, bit of a spread.
Yeah, Joey B well in ahead. And on paper, Jaden Lowe has that huge deadlift in his back pocket. But like you aforementioned, so does Angelo, and Angelo has got those years of experience.
Whoa, and he hits.
Looked like a good call.
2.5 kilos separates him and Angelo. And we have ourselves a battle.
And that's 5 kilos less that he's gonna have to load up.
221.5 kilos being loaded now for the reigning world champion, defending national champion, Joe Borenstein.
He said he was 95%. I don't know. This is going to be an unofficial world record if he hits this, going over his own 83 kilo world record at 219. Let's see if he's got this in him.
Here to remind everybody he's the number 183 in the world and the strongest that ever lived.
This has never been done before. Let's see.
Nope. And that was close, just before lockout.
And I was kind of predicting that they were gonna just chip that national record. But if you kind of know that you're well in ahead at this point, hey, throw on what you think you got.
And we are going to be once again accompanied by Sean Noriega for his thoughts on the battle. And Sean, looking at well, first off, we could talk about Megan Scanlon. Any surprises there?
Well, I think the surprises are for the lifters, right? Coming into this meet, knowing that you have the upper body thrust rule now being implemented, I think without any real demonstrations, either in video instruction or just in comps, a lot of these more technical benchers don't really know what to expect. And I think it was reflected in Janae and Megan's attempts.
So when you take a look at the battle of the 69s, both of these ladies not hitting those third benches, are they back to even? How do you think this battle is unfolding?
I mean, when you have the upper hand on deadlift, it gives you a lot of advantage, and I think Janae certainly has that momentum. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Celine is a gamer. She doesn't miss often, and you know, I'm rooting for both of them. I like both of them. I don't have a clear favorite here, so.
Right, fair enough. Now let's get to the 83s, because you know a thing or two about the 83s.
Yep.
You had mentioned after the squat event, likely Joe B was pulling ahead. You thought it was going to be very difficult for Jaden after missing his third squat. I got to agree with you now. The spread in the forecast looks like Joe B a heavy favorite. However, looking at the forecast, Angelo and Jaden, 2.5 kilos separates.
Yep.
Angelo misses third squat, bench, and Jaden, of course, hitting his third bench.
Yep.
Angelo going 3 for 3 in squat. Jaden missing one of his last squat. How close is this battle with just 2.5 kilos separating?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously Jaden has the upper hand on deadlift, but being in a position that Angelo's in right now to just put the pressure on Jaden to really have to load something big, I think it's going to Jaden has to load something he's probably never loaded before in order to keep up, right? Angelo's deadlift has been pretty consistently in that 360 to 365 range the past couple of years, and speaking to John Song, it sounds like they've found another gear. So, I think Angelo's in a comfortable position to just make a lift and say, Jaden, ball's in your court.
Yeah, well said. Something else, another layer to all of this. Of course, you have the silver medal, you have the bronze medal, and they're vying which one they're going to have. But bigger than that, we've seen Team USA with 2 lifters in the same weight class.
Yep.
We know that the North American Championship is also an avenue for lifters as well.
Yep.
So this is a pivotal moment. A lifter like Angelo, who's been around for years, has not made an American team yet. How much do you think this would mean to him to possibly make it on an international stage, going to the World Championships? Can you imagine going to the North American Championships? What would you say?
I mean, I remember Angelo back in Lombard, Illinois. That was his first nationals. I think he took 11th or 12th place, and even talking to him back then, his goal was the same as it is now, which is to make a world team. So to be able to get down that, go down that avenue and compete on the world level, I'd love to see it. I love seeing guys who have been, in the sport for a while continue to chip away at it. So rooting for Angelo in that regard.
And then while you have the wily veteran in Angelo, who's looking to hit those milestones that previously were just slightly out of reach, and we're seeing today might be within reach. On the flip side, you have this freak athlete in Jaden Lowe who's just 20 years old. I think he just turned 21, competing 2 years, and already he might have an opportunity to have USA across the chest very early in his career. How exciting is that? But he's found himself in a major battle, and this is where that veteran's poise might come into play, or is this that youthful abundance is going to persevere?
The gap between him and Joe might be a blessing in disguise in that regard, because now you don't end up in a position where you go for broke on a third deadlift and then Angelo potentially jumps you. Now you're in a position where it's okay, well, if I have NAPF on the table, I have to be strategic, play with what's in my capabilities, and you can just potentially edge out Angelo because you have the last say. And
for someone like Jaden Lowe, the North American Championship not only isn't an opportunity to represent USA, but he might even be able to break a world record deadlift at the North American. So, and how about that on your resume? Now, let me ask you right now. Joe B had said on the podcast, I'm not 100%, I'm around 95. Just 2.5 kilos below his personal best squat. That's not 95. We're talking 99 point whatever. He just loaded up a PR attempt on bench press. Previously 219, attempted 221. So he's not over 100%. I'm going to ask you right now, there's $1 million on the table. Does Joe B go over 900 kilos today?
Yeah, I think he does. I think that with the spread, kind of being able to lock it up on a second attempt and being able to load whatever you really want on the third attempt, I think it gives him that same level of confidence. I think he's a showman. I think being able to do kind of what he did at last year's Nationals in just coming out for whatever he thinks he can hit on a third, I say yeah. I give him 900, 902.
Okay, well, I have a bet with Robert Keller, the president, and I thought he was going under 900. I'm starting to think he goes over 900. I think I'm going to be owing Robert a dinner. But nevertheless, follow-up question to that. If that's the case, does he PR his total and actually go over 904? Not a big jump over 900, I know, but a PR so close after Sheffield.
I don't know. I don't want to give an opinion there. I don't want.
That's a little more difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it would be. It depends what he loads on his second attempt deadlift. I think that if, based on how Jaden's opener, because that's what they're going to be doing, right, is they're going to watch openers, and if they feel like, okay, we'll lock this up on the second attempt and I can leave myself room to have energy for a third, then I think it's possible. But if we feel like, okay, that second attempt has to be a little bit heavier to just keep it comfortable, then I don't know.
In a battle of deadlifters, and these are the biggest deadlifters we've ever seen in the 83s, obviously in Tahoe internationally, but domestically for sure. Who pulls last today?
I think Charles Hammond could pull last today.
And you know what? He's opening with 350. And I love that you said that. It's a bit of a hipster pick, but it's true.
Yeah.
We're looking at the big guns. And Charles pulling last, what a story that would be.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the forecast either of like where he's placing, but I don't know if that's something that gets him into top 5 if he loads some kind of Hail Mary third deadlift. But I mean, I've seen his training. I've seen him in person training, and the ceiling on that man's deadlift, grip permitting, is just unbelievable.
Well, thank you for your input.
Yep.
I love the insights. And please do return. We're going to take a short 5-minute break, and we will resume the battle in the deadlifts.
I will see you then.
Takes the lead. Big jump. Wow, what a battle. And they are lighting it up on this platform. Sold out crowd. Got the money's worth today.
Welcome back to Powerlifting America 2026 Nationals, presented by A7. I am Ryan Sixpack Lapidat, accompanied in the booth with Adriana Davis, as we resume the battle of the 63 and 69 kilo women's division, as well as in flight 2, the 83 kilo men. Kicking off the deadlifts, Daisy Garcia, 175.
Currently forecasted in 3rd place, just 5 kilos ahead of Sydney Hunter.
Yeah, the battle to get onto the podium in the 63 kilo class has all come down to this. Oh, you know what? A little bit sticky for an opener.
Yeah, her best is 195, and you said you're good at reading body language and faces. She looked a little disgruntled by that.
Yeah, if Sid is backstage looking at the monitor, it's going to breed a little bit of hope in her. 175, Audrey Myers.
Let's see how this moves for her. This is good 25 keys under her best.
Yeah, easy, smooth.
Yeah, that's how an opener should look.
Audrey, not far off the 57 kilo class. Hannah Peterson, 177.5.
And if you're Sydney, if you're Hannah, and you watch Daisy's opening attempt, Hannah could be vying for a silver medal here. Let's see how this moves.
Thing with those openers, some people are a lot closer to their top end with that opener than others. Hannah looks like she's got a lot left.
Seems like it. Gets one red, but it looks like the chief referee is indicating that she meant to hit that white light.
Maggie Stout, 180.
Got a best deadlift of 200 kilos. I watched her hit that at her last competition, Rising Tide, and man, it was a good final deadlift. Had some tears on the platform, made me a little emotional. Nicely done.
192.5 for Megan Scanlon. Once she hits this, her total 533.5.
Yeah, and this should pretty much well and done solidify yet another national title picked up for Megan Scanlon.
Then she'll be looking to just add kilos upon that. $200 kilos even. Celine Crum. This will put her total at 540.5. Obviously that chip in play.
Now she missed that final bench, but so did her opponent, Janae.
Both of them 5 or 6. Celine only leaving 2.5 kilos on the table. Easy, smooth, a lot there.
And I think you and I have seen countless times before Celine Crum pull an insane deadlift that takes somewhat like 10 seconds. If the title's on the line.
212.5 for Sid Hunter. We had told you she's got a deadlift. If she wants to get on the podium, and this is the event, she's going to cover that ground. Locks that shoulder back, and she can grind. Smiles as she leaves the platform. That's a good indication. It felt good. In the battle is on. 2:15 for Angelina Martinez as we move back to the 69 kilo class.
Pretty well solidified in the bronze medal position.
Yeah, as soon as she hits this.
She's got a beautiful deadlift on her. She hit 230 at her last competition in Austin.
Wow. With ease. And that should do it for that bronze medal. Last deadlift opener, Janae Kovacs, 217.5. So this will put Janae's total to 552.5. Celine at 540.5. 12 kilos will separate these ladies. In the deadlift event, can 12 kilos be a bridge that's gapped, of course? Or a gap that's bridged, I mean to say. Let's see how smooth 217.5 moves.
Yeah, she's got the best of 242. She's ready for the battle.
Nice opening pull by Janae.
Pretty smooth.
And now she's got a lead. And it appears to be a lot more kilos left. It's going to come down to game planning now.
Yeah, and if we're taking a look ahead, Celine had jumped 15 kilos to her second attempt. And that's where that gameplay comes in. If Janae happens to miss her second attempt, her third attempt in the deadlifts, Celine hits, there you go.
Now Celine really needs to apply pressure.
And it's difficult to apply pressure when you have the lower deadlift.
Yeah, Janae's always going to have the last say. Daisy Garcia, 185.
Honestly, I was a bit worried jumping 10 keys from that opening attempt, but
Yeah.
she made that convincing.
It might just be her style of deadlifts. It's never going to look pretty. There's always going to be a little bit of sticking points here and there.
She's a scrappy lifter.
Yeah, but she's further away from her top end than it appears. 187.5. Hannah Peterson.
Jumping up 10 kilos, this is going to put her temporarily ahead of Daisy into the silver medal in the 63 kilo class. Ooh.
Oh, it's a fight. She's good for it, locks it out, but 187.5 appears to be her top end. She does have one more deadlift, I'm assuming. They're not going to make any kind of big jumps. She's currently in bronze. Still have the rest of the second round of deadlifts. $190 for Maggie Stout. In the forecasted totals, just 5 kilos separating Daisy and Hannah. One silver, one bronze. Who's going to escape with what medal? Maggie, 190.
Smooth second attempt there.
Yep, well done.
Ooh. Taking the Luke Medina method, 20 kilo jump.
195 for Audrey Myers.
First time on the national stage and in the prime time.
A definite sticking point at that lockout. 195.
Scraps it out.
It looks top end. 212.5 being loaded for Megan Scanlon. This will put her total at 553.5. At Sheffield, she did 555. Was not at all happy with that. She'll be just a stitch below that with her second attempt. Opportunity to best that with her third.
And that's the thing about competitions like Worlds, Sheffield. You're battling against all these elite lifters. At Sheffield, Megan Scanlon took 215 on her second. Had to put on a big 227.5 on her third. $20-kilo jump. Let's see how she handles it. Wow.
Yeah, still pretty smooth. Definitely work.
Yeah, fairly smooth for that big of a jump.
Now, how much more does she have in her, though?
I don't know.
We're talking maybe 5 kilos, 7.5?
That's up to the Garys to decide.
All right.
I think she could put on about 5 kilos, get close to that 560 mark.
215 for Celine Crum. She's previously hit 225. This will nudge her temporarily ahead of Janae Kovacs, forcing Janae to hit her second attempt. Yeah, she's definitely got more kilos there. Applying pressure to Janae Kovacs. Celine temporarily moves herself into first place. With Janae still an opportunity to respond. Sid Hunter now. 222.5 kilos. This will move her total to 470. Trailing just slightly behind, 5 kilos to get on podium. Oh, and she can scrap if she has to. Locks it out. 3 white lights.
Yeah, and I mean, with that big pole in the conventional stance, she could grind it out. So if Hannah and Daisy miss, I imagine she's going to load it up.
We're moving back to the 69-kilo class. 225 for Angelina Martinez. Angelina has that bronze medal in hand, trying to add kilos onto the total now.
This would put her at 522.5 in the total, just 5 under her best. And it was fast.
Yeah, she's got a lot more than 5 kilos there. She's going to have a PR total for sure.
I think she's got a PR total, and I think she's got a PR deadlift in her.
Janae Kovacs up next, 235. This will bump her total to 570. And Celine Crum at 555.5. You're starting to see a bit of a gap. Trying to augment that gap if she can hit this.
This would put quite a big spread.
Now she's got to hit this.
She's got to hit this.
Yeah.
She's got to execute.
This is a junior national total record. Yeah, and that's going to be very difficult to beat. There's more there. Her total now 570. Celine, though.
Celine has loaded it up.
Loaded enough to push her total to 570.5. Celine applying pressure on Janae. Now Janae has to hit her third and final deadlift if she's going to win this. We said likely to come down to the very last deadlift, and here we are.
And honestly, with Celine's pool, it was a bit smoother than I expected. I kind of gauged 10, 12 and a half, but if you're reaching for that 15, you kick in that extra gear.
190 for Daisy Garcia.
This would put Daisy, if temporarily, into the silver medal. Nice job there. 3 for 3 in the deads, forcing Hannah Peterson's hand.
Hannah Peterson, 192.5. Currently 480 total. This will bump her up to 485 and into second place, bumping Daisy down to bronze with Sydney still to respond. This podium underneath Megan is a battlefield.
And this is where that gamesmanship really comes into play.
Yeah, Sydney has the proper number to get onto that podium. Ooh.
Okay, yeah, they're stopping lifting. This is kind of what I was about to get into. So Hannah Peterson only needs 190 to pull ahead of Daisy, but because of lot number, she's got to go with 192.5. Okay, well, never mind. Well,
Folks, this will be for second place. Silver medal on the line.
Oh, becomes a moot point.
Give her a round of applause on the way out.
and thankfully it becomes a moot point. Honestly, with Hannah's second attempt, it was a bit of a scrap.
200 kilos now being loaded for Maggie Stout. We're in the 63 kilo class. Maggie looking to go from 435 to 445 and move into the top 5.
And her second attempt was smooth. She's done this before. Would give her a nice 5 kilo total PR. Let's see.
Top 5 it is.
Top 5 for Maggie. First Powerlifting America Nationals in the prime time.
Audrey Myers,
Top 5.
205, looking to move her total, 432.5 to 442.5. Audrey had a bit of a sticking point with 195 at the top end. 10 kilo jump from there though.
Come on, Audrey. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. You got it.
Oh, too much on the day.
Let's hear it for Audrey Myers.
Megan Scanlon up next, 222.5. This will bring her total to 563.5. Nice 8.5 kilo improvement from her Sheffield performance.
Getting close to her all-time best within the weight class. I believe she hit 566 at last year's Nationals. And she's gonna have that rematch. It's already set with Alba Bostrom at Worlds. Let's see if she's got another 10 in her. It's going, it's going!
Oh, and she wants it. Refusing to be denied, locks it out. 522.5 it is. 3 white lights.
Beautiful work there from the 2-time world champion. Returning to Dubai.
230 kilos now, 15 kilo jump. Will move Celine's total to 570.5. In context, this is just a 5 kilo PR. Definitely reasonable, definitely in reach.
It's within reach, but it's gonna be a big ask. Let's see if she's got it in her. This is it. Oh my goodness, Celine Crum.
No, just a little too much on the day. And she will finish her day with 555.5, a silver medal, and obviously got some pathways to the North American Championships.
Could get a second slot to return to Worlds in the 69 kilo class, potentially.
And Sydney Hunter, 232.5. This will move her into second place from fourth to second.
And it is a national open record in the deadlifts.
We told you she had a deadlift on her. Will she end the day with a national record and a silver medal? Oh, it's gonna be too much.
Bit too much, but you know what? That was the number to put on. Her fourth place was already solidified, and those two girls in silver and third were both at 480.
Now we're gonna move back into the 69 kilo class. 2 more deadlifts to go, and Angelina Martinez, 235, moving her total from 522 to 532.5.
And her second attempt was smooth. I think she's got this in her. This will be a 5 kilo total PR on the day. Already gonna be walking away with the bronze medal in the killer 69 kilo class. There we go.
Nicely done.
Beautiful
Angelina
work.
finishes in style.
Our next lifter will be Janae Kovacs.
245 now being loaded for Janae Kovacs to move her total from 570 to 580.
She is already your 69 kilo national champion.
National open record.
Her own national open record in the deadlifts. And it's interesting that this actually matches the national open record in the total at 580, which is Megan Scanlon's. The cherry on top.
Yeah, a star in the making in Janae Kovacs. Well, a little too much on the day, but I tell you what, she doesn't need it. That is your U.S. national champion and punches her ticket to IPF Worlds.
With a huge 570 kilo total. Now, she had been talking about getting close to that 580 national record. 570, man.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's got to be said, if you talk to some of these lifters, when you're anticipating a battle and you know you need your last deadlift, and then the difference with that scenario and being told you've already won, you're already the national champion, you're already going to Worlds, this one's just for fun. The adrenaline kind of leaves your body. It's not going to be the same, let's be honest. Very difficult to go out there. It doesn't mean nothing, but what you came in for.
The pressure's off.
Right, that's a fact. And 255 for Luke Medina.
I'm gonna predict he goes 275 for his second attempt. But yeah, Janae Kovacs. Now, who is going to be her contenders on the world stage?
Well, you got Carola Gara from Italy, who's done 588.5.
She's getting close.
Yeah, no, there's no question by the time Worlds rolls around.
Because Akita Shitko is out of the class, if I'm correct.
No, you are correct.
That's going to be a fun one to watch.
Leah Bava has moved down. Dev Roy, 262.5. Ben Winder, 270 for his opening pull. Nice smooth opener for Ben. And we're talking about how close it is between Jaden Lowe and Angelo Fortino. Would you believe these two gentlemen weighed in exactly the same weight? How often does that happen?
Not too often.
No.
This is going to be a fun one to watch as we climb closer and closer to the end of the flight.
Both weighing 82.52. Could either one of them please have spat in a cup to break that tie? 280, Zarek Jarvis. That was quick and snappy. Now, unlike his other openers, took a little bit of work. That was fast and snappy.
Cleanest opener so far.
Yeah.
I bet Putri's happy with that.
295 for Tony Hinson.
Beltless pull.
And you do see that when it comes to the sumo.
From time to time.
Yeah. Nicely done. Very smooth 295 for Tony.
Our next lifter is Alex Lugo, Minnesota. Bar is loaded with 661. 300 kilos.
300 kilos.
Another well-known beltless puller in Lookout.
Alex asking Bar to be moved forward. Lucky coming off 3 for 3 in the bench press. Once he hits this, his total is 757.5.
Thank you.
Nice, smooth, easy opener.
And the lifter Alex is exhibited. Sean Jim will follow. Same weight, 300 kilos.
300 kilos even stays on the bar for Sean Jin.
Now, Sean Jin, for his previous attempts or previous disciplines, a bit lower than his best, but
6 for 6 nevertheless. That's a good steady opener. No, you're right.
But that looked fairly easy, and his best in the deadlifts is 330. I imagine they could be taking some jumps.
He could take 15 kilo jumps to end up in and around where his best was. Steven Gervasio, 300 kilos, stays on the bar for him. Very popular opening weight in the 83s today.
Easy work there.
Yep.
Next up, Jaden Lowe of Mississippi. Going to take her right out at 727.
330 kilos loaded for Jaden Lowe. Once he hits this, he's at 518.
518. He's at 815.
815. Sorry, dyslexia kicking in. Thank you. Angelo upping his opener. Once he hits his opener, will be at 822.5. But again, these are openers. Very, very close battle for second place. Nicely done. Wow. Smooth.
We remain at 7:27.
Reigning world champion Joe Bornstein, opening with 330 kilos. And his total will be at 852.5.
Yeah, it seems like.
Nah, at Sheffield, he was 856.5. He's going to completely eclipse that total.
I mean, his best is what, 377.5, I believe. Could be looking at a total PR, depending how he's feeling. Definitely doesn't need it, but
Wow.
Joey B is a guy to make a statement.
I was going to say, for Joe B, he didn't like how Sheffield ended. He was very bitter with that performance. And while you're right, he won't need it to win, I think it's going to mean a lot to him. Wow, 330 was about as snappy as 330 is going to move. And that should just about do it. 332.5 for Angelo Fortino.
And Angelo, I don't quite remember what his initial opener was at. Just a reminder for folks at home, you can change your opening attempt. But he's opening just 2.5 above Jaden Lowe. Possibly, I believe, strategic.
Oh, for sure. He wants a lead, and then he's going to try to maintain that lead. That was a fast 332.5. Now a lot can happen between second and thirds, but if he can maintain that lead.
Yeah, now he's got the advantage of seeing what Jaden Lowe has put in for his second attempt.
Charles Hammond's 350. You know, I was talking to Sean Noriega, asked him, who do you think pulls last today? He said, I think it's going to be Charles. Let's see how 350 moves.
This is a big opening attempt regardless, but it's also just 10 kilos under his best. Ooh.
And that was a bit of a surprise. So you're right that it was 10 kilos under his personal best. However,
it's a gamble when you make that move.
Even if prep is going amazing, 10 kilos is awful close to your previous top end. Now,
especially when you're at that level where you're deadlifting 360.
Now, having said that, sumo, there's a lot of intangibles there. Not quite like a conventional. You can make a few adjustments, and you're right back on track. Luke Medina, 270. Relatively conservative jump for him. I mean, smaller jump in deadlifts than he does in bench press. Not used to seeing that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I did not expect that based on how his opener moved. And now he's been moving on the day. That's going to be a no lift, unfortunately.
Balance at the top is a factor for the sumo poles. Ben Winder, 285 for his second attempt. 15 kilo jump. 5 kilos below his personal best.
And if we're taking a peek ahead, our big deadlifter, Charles, has put in 365 for his second attempt, despite missing that opener.
Yeah, that's bold. That's a personal best after missing your opener. That very rarely do you see that happen. 285 it is for Ben. Nice second attempt.
Bit tough off the ground, but fairly smooth for being only 5 kilos under his best.
Don't forget about Top Step Media for
Dev Roy, 287.5. $25-kilo jump. Not quite as crazy in the deadlifts.
Had a phenomenal squat day. Didn't really go his way in the bench, but now he's trying to build up the momentum in the deads.
Handles that 25-kilo jump quite well.
Yep, that's gonna be good.
300 kilos even for Zarek Jarvis.
Bar is loaded.
20-kilo jump. His opener looked a lot smoother than his squat and bench openers. Gonna try to show the progress he's made in prep. There we go.
Nicely done.
Beautiful pull.
Sean Jin, 315 kilos for his second attempt. Now you're talking about his previous personal best being 330. If he's gonna get there, 15-kilo jump and then another 15-kilo jump, depending how this moves. Yeah, I think
That
he's
was
got
nice.
another, he's got another 15 kilos in him.
I think he does. Sean sitting pretty solidly in 4th place. Lookout sitting in 5th.
Lookout, 320. 20-kilo jump for him. What do you think, Adriana? No, looking.
Nicely done, but I don't think he has that much left in the tank.
Nah, he's not feeling confident after that second attempt. Expecting a conservative third as 320 stays on the bar for Steven Gervasio. Steven also taking a 20-kilo jump. Nicely done. And the comparison there, a lot smoother.
A lot smoother there for Steven compared to Lookout.
320 stays on the bar once again. Tony Hinson.
Relatively big 25-kilo jump. If he hits this, would put him just 5 kilos below Mr. Lookout. Could be looking to push him out of the top 5, depending how this goes.
Oh, might be
Fairly
there.
smooth.
Might be there.
I think it might be there. I think he's got, if you're comparing, I think he's got more in the tank compared to Lookout.
Some big final pulls. Only 2.5 kilos separates these last 3 big pulls. Angelo actually coming out first with 352.5. He started heavier than Jaden. Jaden now gonna be loading up after Angelo. and these guys are close. If they both hit, Angelo, 2.5 kilos ahead, body weight exactly the same.
Yeah, they are neck and neck. And we got to keep in mind that Angelo and his coaching staff made this decision for the second attempt after Jaden. So if they both only hit their second attempts
Yeah,
and miss that third,
Angelo's in the lead.
777 pounds for Angelo Fortino.
let's see it.
And he does it. He's got more in the tank. Gets that down command. So, Jaden needs a 355. Historically speaking, it's there. Top end wise, Jaden, historically speaking, has a higher top end for deadlifts. 2.5 kilos separates them. Angelo wants to force Jaden's hand and load more than he needs, hoping, hey, I don't care if I miss and you miss. Now I come in second, and let's see where that lands me in terms of national teams for North American.
And for Angelo, that was a fairly smooth deadlift, but he did have to hold it a bit longer, and that chief referee gave him a red for lockout in the shoulders.
355, Jaden Lowe. Now Jaden has pulled as heavy as 378. But is it there today?
We're soon to find out.
He's got more. How much more? 15 kilos more? 20 kilos more? Is he where he used to be with 378?
I don't know. I think if you're Jaden, if you're his coach, Joey Flex, I would be paying attention to Angelo and that lockout. And given that Angelo's best, I believe, is 360.
360. Angelo just put in 370. Is that a placeholder? You're allowed to change your last deadlift twice. 355 now, first for Joseph Bornstein. And this is turning into a strategic battle on the podium for the 83s. Joe B will move his total to 877.5. Previous top end, 377.5.
Easy work there.
Yeah, that's pretty fast and smooth for 355. Looks like he might cut it. Is he saying he cut it, or is he saying that should be the nail in the coffin?
I don't know. Because he, you know, we've been alluding to how he didn't have the day he wanted at Sheffield. Seems to be fairly easily on his second attempt, putting up 877.5 now. Already going to be punching his ticket to go back to Worlds, defend that title.
I mean, Angelo and Jaden are too far back to reach him at this point, if we're honest. He did throw in 370 as a placeholder himself.
Honestly, if I were him, I know he's someone who likes to make a statement. But if you're thinking about saving yourself for Worlds.
Yeah, but he's so young. I think there's a lot of turnaround time there if he needed to. I don't know. I mean, you're 100% right. I think he wants to see what happens. Well, Jaden's going to pull 372.5, so unless somebody changes their attempts, he's going to pull last of these three gentlemen. But first, 365 for Charles Hemmons. Missed his opener at 350, opting to go up 15 kilos for a personal best attempt regardless.
Let's see if he has this in him.
That's bold. Oh my gosh. And this is where if you miss 350 on the technicality, you can miss 365 on strength, and now you're not going to get stronger in 10 minutes. You can brush up on some technique in 10 minutes though and fix any corrections you need.
His deadlift almost reminds me kind of similar to Ade Omasakin's, where it's fast. You can pull 800 pounds, but is that grip going to go? Because that was fast.
Fair comparison. 270, Luke Medina. just at the lockout. Missed it on his second, misses it on his third, finishing his day with 7:10. Benjamin Winder for 295 will move his total to 737.5 should he hit it. 732.5.
Yeah, and he's already got a total PR on the board. Just looking to add the cherry on top. This would move him, if temporarily, into the top 10.
I'm keeping my eyes on the scoreboard. If Angelo's coming out to 370, or if he's going to lower that.
I think they're kind of playing a game of chicken there.
I mean, it's 10 kilos over his previous personal best. That's pretty bold. If he misses, Jaden only has to go up 2.5 kilos from a second, and 5.
Nicely done. PR deadlift, PR total.
Next lifter, Dev Roy at 672.
Dev Roy, 305. Third and final pull. Currently in the top 10. This will keep him in the top 10.
Another lifter looking to hit a PR deadlift, PR total if he hits this. Coming out of New Jersey.
Oh, huge final pull.
He's got the fight in him.
Yeah, nice way to end this in style. 305 it is. Judges agree, 3 white lights.
Shout out to Dev Raj. Shout out to his coach, Laz.
315 being loaded for Zerek Jarvis. Would bump his total from 740 to 755.
And his second attempt, if I remember correctly, was fairly smooth. After having the day he had in squats where it was a little wonky, bench press, to walk away with a PR total, that would be a nice one. There we go.
Oh, wow. Oh, just that lockout. The grip started giving away.
It was close.
320 kilos now being loaded for Sean Jin, putting its total at 802.5. Placing 4th place, that won't change.
No, I think he's got this in the bag, based on how his second attempt moved. There we go. Smooth final attempt for Sean Jin. Currently in 4th, and I think that fairly conservative 5 kilo jump was likely to hold off the charge of lifters like Alex Luckow.
No, for sure. I think that 802 is going to solidify the 4th place as 330 gets loaded for Steven Gervasio. Ooh. Stuck at the knees. Well, nobody's blinked so far between Angelo and Jaden. 370 still loaded for Angelo. Jaden still 372.5. 335 for Alex Lucky Lacau.
15-kilo jump. It's gonna be tight after that second attempt. In my humble opinion, let's see if he has it in him.
Oh, a little too much. And I think you were being kind when you said it's going to be tight. 320 was a lot of work. 15-kilo jump was ambitious. And 335 will stay on the bar for Tony Hinson.
Looking to bump Alex Lacau out of the top 5 if he makes this. And his second attempt was fairly smooth. I think he could have this in him. Ooh.
Oh, no, also stuck at the knees.
My predictions are not good.
Alex remains lucky in the top 5, and there it is. Angelo lowering to 360. This will move his total from 842.5 to 850. Currently in silver medal position, and Jaden forced to pull into silver and hit his last and final attempt.
Yep, if Angelo makes this, then, like you said, Jaden's gonna be forced to load up 367.5.
Applying pressure on Jaden Lowe. Can Angelo make it onto a Team USA?
Let's see it. Mr. Deadlift, get those shoulders back.
Yeah, that looks good to me. 360 does a pass. Angelo does his part, 3 white lights, and Angelo now at 850 kilos even, forcing the hand of Jaden Lowe for a 365 kilo final pull. And as it stands at the moment, Angelo in second place.
Now, I thought that bar's loaded. I thought that my math was incorrect, but I need to trust myself. You had mentioned how Jaden Lowe and Angelo Fortino.
Same body weight.
Same body weight.
With the same total.
Same body weight.
Yeah, the forecast says silver, but the total will be the same, and Angelo's body weight's the same, unless something's wrong with what we're reading, but the forecast does read second. Getting mixed signals here. Hopefully no controversies. Jaden Lowe, 365. Top end, he should have this. He's done 378. This is well beneath what he's previously been able to do. I'm not entirely... No major surprises there. 365 it is. Jaden Lowe.
And here comes the controversy.
Right, so both of them at 850. Both of them have the same body weight, but Angelo hit it first. And Jaden now, it is, yeah, third place. So there it is.
There's the correction.
The forecast, there it is.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake from the coaching staff.
Yeah,
that was a mistake because the rule is if you weigh in the same, you have to out-total them if you're pulling after.
Angelo already hit 850 for sure. 370 for Joe Bornstein, obviously in first place, just bumping up into 892.5.
I don't even know if he's going to pull this.
No, and he doesn't need to. Oh, no, he is.
Mind.
Oh, my God. Well, to be 23 again. Yeah, he's a...
I wish I was his 23. 892.5. If Joseph Bornstein hits this, I think it's there. Fairly smooth.
Yeah, there it is.
And that's a message to the world. A fairly easy 892.5.
It's an unofficial world record. It's what he would have wanted at Sheffield. It takes out the bad taste in his mouth he had with the Sheffield performance. I know he's capable of more. He's done more domestically, but it's an improvement. One more lift to go. 379 by Charles Hemmings. Sean Noriega.
He's got one more pull.
Sean Noriega said he'll be pulling last, and didn't think we'd be here with 2 missed lifts, and he's still pulling last, but here we are. What a turnaround it would be if he nails 379 for a national record. Talk about 0 to hero if he hits this. Holy moly. National record on the line. All or nothing for Charles Hemmings. It'll move its total to 799.
If he hits this, this would be taking Jaden Lowe's national open record in the deadlifts. Let's see. Talk about all in.
No, too much on the day. Unfortunately, that means Charles bombs out, but he definitely was a talking point in this deadlift session.
Imagine if he had hit that, though.
Wow.
Imagine if he had hit that.
Yeah. So there you have it. We're going to have Sean Noriega back to recap the battle of the 69s, Megan's 63-kilo performance, and, of course, the 83s. Sean, welcome back. We'll start with the women's 63-kilo national champion, Megan Scanlon, once again returning to the IPF World Championships. She did not like the performance at Sheffield that she put forth. She bested that today. What are your thoughts on Megan Scanlon in the 63s?
I mean, I think she's true. Like, the fact that she was able to retool her bench press when the sink, the bench depth became a thing and everybody had to sink, and basically got back, if not exceeded, where she was before. If she can now get comfortable with adjusting to whatever these rules may look like and continue to level up her bench, I mean, she's continued to steadily add to her total every single year. That if bench can keep up as her strength, I mean, I think we're going to see something pushing toward that 580 plus mark. So
she'll need it with Alba there, but
Yep.
You're right. Alba has not had to face this new rule. Megan has. Let's see how it evens the playing field at Worlds. A lot of question marks there. Now, talking about the 69-kilo class, the battle ended up being Janae winning on her second attempt, 570, loaded up for a 580. We're not entirely sure internationally how it's going to look for her, so it's difficult to say the proposition of Worlds at this point. But if you're a lifter, if you were told you were already the national champion, you were already going to the Worlds, the battle is over after your second, and you have a third attempt pull, how much does that somewhat deflate? I'm not trying to make an excuse for Janae, but it has to be a factor knowing it's already over, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for anybody who's been back there on a deadlift, especially when you're vying for a podium spot, the adrenaline that keeps you going through the end of that meet, knowing you have something to fight for, it's incomparable to anything else. So once that's removed, it's really difficult to get yourself hyped up for a third. So I could totally see that have played a role.
When you talk about the amount of tension that were surrounding us on social media, all the podcasts, Janae ratcheting up the tension herself, and the release of that tension, knowing it's over. You won. Not only that, you're going to the World Championships. Yeah, I can only imagine. Now let's talk about these 83s. A bit of controversy there for a second. Let me ask you right off the hop, and then we'll get into the more finer points of details, but was this how you thought the battle would ensue?
I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, if I'm being honest with you. I thought that it would be probably around like an 885-ish finish, based on how, the fact that Joe had the quick turnaround for Sheffield and what we saw out of Jaden coming out of SBD Austin. So it was a little bit surprising, you know, from a spectator standpoint, obviously watching amazing lifters, but it's not as fun when the head-to-head isn't there. So,
Right.
you know, Joe being able to comfortably pack it up, I'm sure he was happy with, but as viewers, you know, it's not as fun to watch.
Fair enough. Now, we were talking about earlier, Angelo has never had USA across the chest,
Yep.
worn that American singlet, been a part of Team USA, and now he has an opportunity to.
Yep.
But near the end, a little bit of controversy there.
Mm-hmm.
The body weight was the exact same. Angelo had already finished with 850,
Yep.
and Jaden loaded up to equal 850. There's Joe B right there. We'll talk to him in a second. But Jaden loaded up to equal 850, but he's tying on body weight.
Yep.
And the forecast said he'd be moving the second, but you knew that couldn't be. I'm wondering, what do you think happened there?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was an oversight in the warm-up room on attempt selections. Obviously, the heat of the moment, you never know. But my buddies and I were sitting in the crowd watching and noticed the same body weight. We're like, all right, this never happens, but who has lot advantage? And Angelo had lot advantage, so they would have had to go 2.5 above. I think that was, I think it was there, which makes it more unfortunate to watch, yeah.
It makes it more difficult.
Yep.
But on the flip side, so Angelo potentially wearing USA,
Yep.
making a Team America. How crazy is that going to be? Likely at North Americans.
Yep.
What are you thinking about that?
I mean, very sweet to see. Angelo has been a wonderful competitor to compete alongside all these years, so seeing him to have the opportunity to do that, it's great. Like I said, I love seeing the old guys stick around and keep fighting.
So, as it turns out, I do not owe Robert Keller dinner. Joe B, a little bit below 900 kilos,
Yep.
but honestly, if he was pressed, he might have had it there on the day, but
Yep.
obviously did not need to. Listen, Sean, thank you very much for doing this. Love to have you back. Appreciate your insight, sir. And I'd love to see you back on the platform. When's the next time we're going to see that?
Next Nationals.
Okay, well, there it is.
Long building.
Okay, we'll see you in a year. Long build. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have Joseph Borenstein, reigning national champion, reigning world champion, discuss his thoughts. Joe? Come on in, sir.
What we doing? All right.
Okay, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, how were your thoughts on the performance? You had said on the podcast, probably under 900, around 895 range, 890 to 895 range, exactly in and thereabout. So, I'm assuming the day went around what you expected?
Basically, yeah. This is probably the worst I've ever felt in a competition. Stay away from me. I'm a little sick right now, too.
Jesus.
I'm a little sick as well. Yeah, the longest I've ever traveled. Lost a lot of weight. I was sick 4 weeks ago, then I got sick again. I was surprised about the bench. I should have hit that. But squat was basically where it should have been. Deadlift, I'm not even sure how that moved. You can tell me. I don't know if I had more kilos than that. I did not feel good.
You probably did.
I did?
If you were
I'll take
pressed, I would assume. I mean, the big thing is you didn't need it.
Oh,
Did
no,
you know you were so far ahead? Were you paying attention at that point?
Yeah, I was paying attention after the opener because I really wanted to see Angelo beat Jaden because I called it in my interview before the equipment check-in. And I was like, I looked at Angelo, I was like, yo, beat Jaden for me because that post was not the most flattering that he made. So I wanted
What post was this that you're talking about?
you saw it. You saw it on Instagram. He made a compilation of my fails from Sheffield.
I didn't see that, actually.
You didn't? Okay.
I swear to God, I did not see that.
Well, he made a compilation of my fails. So I was like, you know what? I'll show him. So that's what we did. Like I said, I wasn't at my strongest. Maybe I could have squeezed out a couple more kilos with a better attempt selection on the bench, like, a kilo less, pull a little bit more on the deadlift. Maybe I had like 897 all out today. So for that to be my absolute basement floor, I can't get any lower than that. And a year ago, 900 was my absolute ceiling. Like, I made a lot of progress, but right now I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. I feel horrible.
So then, was it a conversation even come out for your last deadlift with how you're feeling?
Yeah, it was. No, it was. I asked my coach. I was like, is it worth taking the 370? And he looked at me. He's like, we can't lose to Perk on total because he did the 891, I think, or 891 and a half.
Fair enough.
So I was like, you're right. And on the King of the List podcast, I even said, I was like, I got the top 3 83 kilo totals. And I totally forgot about Perk. He's a 74, and I would classify him under the under 83 category, right? So I had to solidify that statement to have the official top 3 totals again. So that's what I did. I beat my world's total. That was also not the best meet I've done. I felt pretty bad that day, but today was objectively like the worst I've ever felt on the platform. So I'm happy I came out with the win.
You pulled it off. You're stacking the chips. You're stacking the wins, and you're going to return to IPF Worlds.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, champ, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yep, that was good. I just showed him we got the 1 minute. Thank you for doing it, sir.
Applause. You guys have sounded fantastic. Thank you to the spotters and the loaders, the 87 crew for moving along fast, keeping these lifters safe. Can't say enough about it. We are ready to go.
Sesame.
That is big trouble.
Wow, what a battle. And they are lighting it up on this platform. Sold out crowd, got their money's worth today.